Om Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Today we will discuss the reminiscences of conversations with Holy Mother, which form part of the Gospel of Sri Ma Sarada Devi, as recorded by Srimati Sushila Mazumdar. So she writes in her reminiscences that she used to live in Bhawanipur, which is part of Kolkata. So she says, from Bhawanipur I went in the company of my husband and son to Udbodhan house to pay our respects to the Holy Mother. I saw the mother standing in front of the door sill of the middle room on the first floor. If you have seen Udbodhan house, it's a three-storied building, and on the first floor is the shrine, the present day shrine, and it was the room where Holy Mother used to stay, and next to that, adjacent to that, was the shrine. So, and it is the very place where Holy Mother worshipped, which continues to be a very small shrine even to this day. So she was standing in front of the door sill of the middle room on the first floor and talking with someone. As I saluted her, that means that is Sushila Mazumdar, she was with her husband and son. So she says, as she bowed down to Holy Mother asked her, where do you come from, my daughter? Perhaps she is meeting her for the first time. That's why it surprised Sushila Mazumdar. She said she behaved as if we had been acquainted with her for a long time. So I replied, our home is in Dhaka. Dhaka is capital of Bangladesh now. It used to be part of Bengal, undivided Bengal in those days. Originally they were from Dhaka, but they were staying in Bhawanipur in Kolkata. Before this conversation could end, suddenly Golapma summoned the Holy Mother, saying that Ram Babu and Nitai Babu had come to see her. In the meantime, Kapil Maharaj, who was there, he was one of the brahmacharis who was perhaps serving at Udbodhan, that is mother's house. So he told Sushila Mazumdar, please wait a little, Balram Babu's son have come and nephew have come. So perhaps Ram Babu and Nitai Babu are Balram Babu's son and nephew respectively. Anyway, after they have finished talking with mother, you can speak to her. So Nitai Babu came and stood in front of the mother. She was observing Sushila Mazumdar, knew that first I should allow these two, because Balram Bose was a very close devotee and he helped Holy Mother a lot. His house was always open to all the monks. Sri Ramakrishna visited that house nearly 100 times, something which is unique. That's the only householder's house which he visited so many times. Anyway, Nitai Babu came, and maybe he was Balram Babu's nephew, stood in front of the mother. After talking with them, she gave me, means she gave Sushila Mazumdar, 2 rasgullas and went to the adjoining shrine room to meet Ram Babu. She gave her prasad and said, just wait, I'll talk to them and come. I remained waiting with 2 rasgullas in my hand. After the mother had spoken with Ram Babu, she called me to the shrine room and asked, why have you not eaten them? It is consecrated food, that is prasad, please take them. At that moment, a certain woman devotee entered and remarked, the mother fed those present with all the sweets. Now what shall we eat? Now a woman comes. Sushila Mazumdar is not aware who this lady is. She doesn't know it's the same eccentric lady, uh, Radhu, or perhaps her mother, uh, who would speak in such a way. Now, she had, being eccentric, she always used to be very outspoken and sometimes scold Holy Mother also. But she used to tolerate her behavior till the last. And only a few days before her passing away, she asked everybody to be withdrawn from her presence. She was detaching and preparing for the final journey. Anyway, for this lady, Sushila Mazumdar, it was like she had the prasad in her hands, and somebody comes and tells that Holy Mother is distributing the prasad to everybody, and what shall we eat? She was a bit abashed as I was at her remarks, for those two rasgullas were still in my hand. I said, "You please take these two rasgullas." Then she replied, "No, daughter, I didn't mean you. Why should I take yours?" So these women said, "No, no, no, I am not saying that you have to give me the rasgullas. I did not mean you. Why should I take yours?" Then the mother said to her, "Oh, please don't say such things. It will hurt the devotees. As there are many persons, the prasad was not sufficient, even though only two sweets were given to each. And they have come from a very remote corner of the country, and it's with so much difficulty." Then, as the mother repeatedly requested me, I ate the sweets. She was hesitating because such a remark made in front of everybody, she was feeling shy to eat it. But mother said, "No, you have to eat it." The mother herself brought water for me. That was the spirit of service she had. Even at that old age, she never stopped feeding and serving others. Later, she said, "The syrup from the sweets has made the floor dirty." Rasgulla is full of sugar syrup, so perhaps some of it, she was holding it in her hands. Naturally, the syrup had fallen down. "Please wipe it with a wet cloth and wash your hands after that." After I had completed this task, the mother sat down on the cot and began to inquire about me. Just as I was saying, I have one son, Ni. He didn't even the name is not mentioned here. It is written as Ni, N-I, maybe Nikhil or something. But anyway, the name is not mentioned. I have one son. Ni came there to salute the mother. I said, "Mother, he is my son." Ni left after making pranams to the mother. Then she asked, "Have you not arranged for his marriage?" Disciple says, I mean, this uh, Mazumdar, Sushila Mazumdar says, "No, he hasn't married." Mother asks another question. "He is your only son. Why haven't you got him married?" Now, normally mother would never insist on these things, but today, strangely, she is asking. Then the disciple, Sushila Mazumdar, says, "He doesn't want to marry." Then mother says, "Oh, that this has become a fashion with young men. Why can't a married man lead a virtuous life? It is to the mind that one achieves everything. Didn't the master marry me? Has your son received initiation?" Disciple says, "Yes, he has been blessed by you." Then mother says, "Yes, why should he not marry then?" "All right, I shall tell him. Perhaps he doesn't want to face hardship. He who holds on to the Lord even when afflicted by sufferings will certainly attain to him. But tell me, what is your wish?" So she is just trying to find out what the mother wants her son to do. Normally, it is because of the pressure of the parents that the children marry, or sometimes it is the other way around. Anyway, disciple says, "Mother, I don't know what will be good for him. You know what is good and bad for him. Therefore, it will be as you say. I don't have any other opinion." So she is taking a neutral stance. Perhaps the son had told her that he would not marry. So mother just wanted to know, is it because he is not willing to face hardship that he is not marrying? Or is there some other reason? Then mother says, you see, only those who belong to a high spiritual category can become monks and liberate themselves from all kinds of fetters. Some again are born just to enjoy the world. I say it is good to finish in entirety all the enjoyments and sufferings. But it was different in the case of the companions of the master. So she is giving her opinion. She says normally it is very rare that people, especially people who belong to a high spiritual category, become monks and liberate themselves from all kinds of bondages or fetters. But she says there are some people who are born just to enjoy the world, so they have to go through that. And that is why she says such people should, it is good for such people to finish in entirety all the enjoyments and the sufferings which come in its train. It's not that one will always enjoy. They may be born, they may think that they are born for enjoyment, but that is not always the case. One has to take an equal share of suffering as well. So that's why mother is saying it's good that they finish their quota of enjoyment and the accompanied suffering at the same time, so that they develop a real vairagya. But she says it was different in the case of the companions of the master. He brought with him some special people who thought marriage was a bondage. Then the disciple gets confused. She doesn't know whether she should be telling her son to marry or not. Mother, he is but your child. His good and bad depend on you entirely. Do whatever you wish to do. So she doesn't want to give her opinion about her son. He says he has been lucky to be blessed by you. Now you decide what is good for him, what is bad for him, because I don't want to interfere, and do whatever you wish to do. Mother says, I say, let him marry. Let all his enjoyments and sufferings of the past pass off completely. Otherwise, it is difficult to foretell what kind of experience will come to him. But know it for certain, however, that since the master has caught hold of him, he will never fall. You wait quietly with a placid mind. I have initiated him with a mantra given by the master himself. Can ill fortune ever befall him? So, mother is more or less certain that this boy has to finish his quota of enjoyments and suffering. Only then he will be ready for some kind of spiritual life. That's why she says, but still, even if he does that, the master has caught hold of him, means he has been initiated. So nothing drastically bad will happen. At least he will not fall from the spiritual path. He will slowly progress. Progressively, he will get rid of the desire to enjoy, because the quota of suffering will force anybody or everybody to think about higher things of life. That's a more natural way, according to Holy Mother. And moreover, he has got the mantra, and if he does it seriously, given by the master himself to her, she has given to her son, Sushila Mazumdar's son. So he said that's why ill fortune can never befall him. Then she replied, would you take prasad here? I mean, would you take your meals here, or noon meal? As I replied in the affirmative, the mother went out to tell the storekeeper and returned. Mother, from whom have you taken initiation? Who told you about the master? Then her mother perhaps was not initiated by, though she says that she is a disciple, she was not initiated by mother, whereas the son was, but she had taken initiation from somewhere else. So the disciple says, when we went to meet Nagmasha at Devbhav, we heard from him the glories of Sri Ramakrishna. Nagmasha was a householder disciple, and very, very devoted to Sri Ramakrishna and also Holy Mother. Observing Nagmasha's lofty mental condition, I always felt a strong desire to see Sri Ramakrishna and you. I was not fortunate enough to see Sri Ramakrishna because she lived in Devbhog, or perhaps they had gone to Devbhog to meet Master Mahasaya from Dhaka. Now she is in Calcutta, and Sri Ramakrishna had already passed. He had passed away. He took Mahasamadhi long ago. So this was much later. So she says, I did not have the fortune to meet the Master, but through your grace I have seen your holy feet, and thereby my desire to see Sri Ramakrishna has also been fulfilled. By seeing you, I think I have seen Sri Ramakrishna. That's what she believed. I have not had initiation directly yet. So now she is saying, I have not received initiation directly from anybody. Then mother asks, have you received it in a dream? Then the disciple says, yes, mother. I saw you in a dream and received initiation from you. So now she is disclosing how she got inspiration to come to the Holy Mother. She had a vision of Holy Mother in the dream, and she received initiation from you, from Holy Mother. Then mother says, well, do you remember the mantra? You had better tell me. So mother was now very keen to know whether she remembered the mantra that she had received from Holy Mother in a dream. It is rather strange that she received the mantra also in a dream. So she says, do you remember the mantra? You had better tell me. No sooner did I utter the bija mantra, then the mother said, yes, you belong to this category. You are fortunate indeed. That means she had already got initiated in a dream, which is very rare. Then the disciple says, mother, will you not tell me anything more? Mother said, no, perform japa with this bija. Know for certain that this will bring you good. With whom have you come? The disciple says, I have come with my husband. Then mother said, where does he stay? What does he do? Disciple, he is the manager of Ram Babu's estate. Then mother says, oh dear, you are the manager's wife. Why didn't you disclose this earlier? Then she calls Radhu, Makku and others. Come and salute the manager's wife. Quite amazed at the mother's action, I said, mother, what are you saying? I am a Kayastha. In those days, people who belonged to the second caste, Kayastha was a lower caste than Brahmins. They normally did not accept the salutations of people belonging to the lower caste. They being members of a Brahmana family, how can they salute me? But the mother said, don't speak like this. You are a devotee. Devotees are all casteless. They will reap good if they salute you. As soon as Radhu and Makku came, I caught hold of their feet. Then the mother said to them, stop. She won't allow you. They are devotees, therefore they see the Lord in all beings. Well, what have you heard at Devbhog from Durga? That is Durga Charan, Nagmashay, whom she had gone to meet. She had gone to meet him. How did you happen to visit him and become acquainted with him? She is asking. Then the disciple says, she was keen to know how was she introduced to Nagmashay and why did she go all the way to Devbhog and what happened when she visited him and became acquainted with him. The disciple said, once my husband went there to see the saint Nagmashay. On that occasion, he won the heart of my husband by his unselfish affection and told him repeatedly about Sri Ramakrishna. He very kindly visited our house in order to see me. So the disciple says, that is this Sushila Mazumdar, that once her husband went there to see the saint Nagmashay. There means Devbhog. And on that occasion, he won the heart of my husband by his unselfish affection. He was very kind to everybody. In fact, he was a man of very scarce means, but he used to feed anybody who came, any devotee who came, including Swamiji who visited him. They were all nicely entertained and fed, and he was very, very unselfish, and he used to distribute food and everything, whatever he had. He had no, he was a very unselfish devotee, and told him repeatedly, again and again, he used to tell, not only feed the people, but tell them about Sri Ramakrishna. His life was full of Sri Ramakrishna. He very kindly visited. He also visited our house in order to see me, to see Sushila Mazumdar. Being charmed by his attitude and love, we have been visiting him for a long time, and he has graciously made us his own and told of the greatness of you and Sri Ramakrishna. As a result, we feel drawn towards you and the Master in our heart of hearts. He would only say, I am nothing. You people unnecessarily come here. I am nothing. Sri Ramakrishna is my everything. If you desire good, take refuge in him, heart and soul. There is no way out besides this. As luck would have it, I saw the holy feet of the Master and became blessed. I have seen Swamiji, who is Lord Shiva himself. That is what Master Mashe, Nag Mashe is telling them. He said, if you take refuge in the Master with your heart and soul, I don't see any other way to escape the problems of life. And he says, as luck would have it, I saw the holy feet of the Master and became blessed. That is what he says. He said, I had the fortune of meeting Sri Ramakrishna and am blessed by taking shelter at his holy feet. Then he says, I have also seen Swamiji, who is, according to Nagmashay, he believed very, very firmly that he is Shiva himself, knowledge incarnate. And I have also seen the Divine Mother incarnate, that is Srima Sarada Devi, and received her blessings. What more shall I tell you? With your whole body, mind and soul, take shelter at the holy feet of Mother and the Master, and it will bring you good. So that is how tremendous faith was instilled in the minds of this Sushila Mazumdar. Even if she had not seen Sri Ramakrishna, as a result of her devotion to Nag Mashe, who was a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna and also Holy Mother, she had a vision of Holy Mother giving her mantra diksha. So she has just come here to tell Mother about that mantra, and Mother says, you don't need any other mantra. Whatever you heard in the dream, you please repeat it. She confirmed. When the bija was uttered, she understood this is the mantra. Then she says, with your whole body, mind and soul, take shelter at the holy feet of Mother and the Master, and it will bring you good. Mother says, then Mother remarked, what shall I tell about him? He looked upon me as the Divine Mother herself. When he came to see me for the first time, I was observing the fast enjoined on the 11th day of the lunar fortnight, that is known as Ekadashi day. The 11th day of the lunar fortnight is observed as Ekadashi. People normally fast on that day. Some people don't even take water. Nirjala Ekadashi, they do. But some people just take a little water and maybe little fruits, but they don't eat much. In those days, no male devotee was allowed in my presence. Devotees used to salute me by touching the staircase with their heads. That means in those days, when Nagmacha used to come, Holy Mother was quite young. Very rarely they used to allow men, even if men came to do pranams, they had to do from a distance. So no male devotee would be coming. Devotees used to salute her by touching the staircase with their head from a distance. One maid servant used to announce the name of the visitor, saying, so and so is saluting you, Mother, and I would send my blessings. That is how they used to greet Holy Mother, the male devotees, in the earlier days, perhaps when Sri Ramakrishna was alive or just after that. But when she grew up, when she grew older, then she relaxed and people could come in. On that day, the maid said, Mother, who is this Nagmashay? He is saluting you, but by striking his head so hard against the staircase that his head is likely to bleed. Swami Yogananda Maharaj is standing behind him, trying to persuade him to stop this action. But he doesn't say a single word, and he seems to be unconscious. Is he a madman, Mother? I said. Then the Holy Mother replied. So Holy Mother is quoting that a maid servant was shocked to see this behavior when he was just banging his head. Then Holy Mother immediately said, Oh dear, tell Yogen to send him here. Holding him, Yogen himself brought Nagmashay to me. Brought him to me. I saw that his forehead was swollen, tears were rolling down his cheeks, and his steps were unsteady. Blinded by tears, he couldn't see me. I made him sit. He was uttering only Mother, Mother, as if insane, but otherwise he was quite calm and composed. I wiped away his tears. I had just sat down to eat my meal of luchi, sweets, and fruit when he appeared in this condition. I partook of a little food and then tried to feed him with the prasada, but he couldn't eat, he couldn't swallow the food, for he had no outward consciousness. He was almost in a very high state of mind. He was so, he reached an exalted state because of his devotion and because of his yearning to see Mother, and because he was given a chance to see Mother face to face. And he simply sat touching my feet and repeating, Mother, Mother. My women companions began to say, Mother, your meal is spoiled. Let us tell Maharaj Swami Yogananda to remove him from here. They did not understand who this person was. They thought he is a madman coming in and disturbing Holy Mother. Holy Mother said, I said, wait, let him compose himself a little. As I stroked his head and body and repeated the Master's name for a long time, he regained external consciousness. He was in a very exalted state. Then I began to take my meal and also to feed him. When he had finished taking food, he was taken downstairs. Before he left, he only said, Not I, but thou. Naham, naham, tuhu, tuhu. That is what Sri Ramakrishna used to say. You have to always say, not me, but thou, O Lord, let thy will. That was the attitude of Nagmashay. He had surrendered his heart, soul and mind at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. He would do anything for me. Then she says, I told those who were near about, look how wise he is. He would do anything for me. Once he came wearing a dirty, tattered cloth and carrying on his head a basket containing select mangoes from his own trees. He had in mind the desire to feed me while sitting by my side, but he wouldn't express this. He began to walk around with the basket on his head like a destitute. Yogen sent word, tell Mother that Nagmashay has brought mangoes. He doesn't speak a word and won't give the basket to anybody. I said, send him here. When he was sent in, he came with the basket on his head. One brahmacharin took the basket off his head. I had not yet finished my daily worship of the Master. After saluting me, he became unconscious. As on previous occasion, he was repeating the name of the Master and saying, Mother, Mother. Tears were streaming down from his eyes. So Mother is telling about an incident which had happened in the past when he came with a basket and he had a strange desire to feed Mother with those mangoes, selected mangoes which he had grown in his own compound, in his own property. So tears were streaming from the eyes of Nagmashay, and the mangoes were of very good quality. Some of them were cut and offered to the Master. The daughter Yogin brought prasad for me on the plate made of sal leaves. I ate a little and told Golap, give him a leaf plate. There was a reason why they did that. When the leaf plate was brought, I placed on it some pieces of mango from my plate and said, please eat. But who would eat? He had no body consciousness and his hands were as if paralyzed. I took hold of his hand and tried to persuade him to eat, but he could not. Instead, he took a piece of mango and began to rub it on his head. He was in such a high ecstatic state because he was so happy that he had seen the Divine Mother herself. I sent word downstairs and they had him brought down. By repeatedly making pranam, by touching the floor with his head, his forehead had got swollen. He didn't take his meal. I heard that after some time he regained normal consciousness and left. So here was a very ecstatic devotee, Nag Mahasaya, was so much devoted to Sri Ramakrishna and also to Holy Mother, whom he considered to be a manifestation of a incarnation of the Divine Mother. After a while, leaf plates were arranged. Mother said, "Come, you will have prasad." That is, now she is telling, after narrating this incident in front of all the devotees who were there, including Sushila Mazumdar, she asks her that the leaf plates have been arranged. Come, you will have prasad now. As I followed the mother into the dining room, she said, "Come sit facing me in the opposite row." So mother mixed her rice with butter, ate 3 morsels of it and said to me, "Take this prasad, take it on your palm." When I stretched out my right hand, the mother said, "Does anyone receive prasad this way?" I mean, she just stretched one hand, not knowing that one has to cup both the hands and receive prasad that way. So she taught her how to take the prasad. I spread both my palms and the mother placed the entire quantity of rice in them, pressing it with her hand. Then she said, "Touch your head with it and then eat." Being surprised, I said, "Mother, I am a kayastha. You touched me while taking your meal. How can you take food now?" So the caste system was so followed. It was very orthodox in those days. So normally people who belong to the Brahmin caste would not touch anybody, at least before taking food. If at all they happened to touch, they would have to wash and all those things. He said, "You have touched me, given me the prasad, touched my hand, held my hand. Now how can you take food now?" The mother said, "You are all my children. What caste discrimination can there be between you and me? You are but my children. Now take the prasad quietly." Then shyly I began to eat. Very cheerfully the mother began to take her meal. She now and then asked what I wanted. Then mother asked, "Well, dear, is there no place of pilgrimage in your part of the country?" That is near Dhaka, which was in Bangladesh, which is now in Bangladesh. So the disciple said, "No, mother, I don't know of any holy place worth the name in there. But people take a holy dip on a certain day. It is called the Brahmaputra bath. Brahmaputra passes through Bangladesh, and Dhaka being on the bank of the Brahmaputra, she had observed that people used to observe this holy ritual, a holy dip on a particular day. So mother said, "Yes, I have heard of it. All right, you take me there this time. I shall see your native place and make a pilgrimage too." Then the disciple said, "Mother, will East Bengal, which is now Bangladesh, in those days it was East Bengal, because it was the eastern part, and the Calcutta was in West Bengal. So she said, "Will East Bengal have that good fortune of your visit?" Then mother said, "Why not? There are many devotees of the master there. Naren went there, Sharat went there, and many others also went there. Why should I not go to a place where people adore the master?" So she was very keen to visit East Bengal. That is that part where Swami Premanandji also was sent by Raja Maharaj, and he not initiated, but he inspired a lot of people who later on became monks, and many of them became devotees. So then the prasad contained pulse soup, 2 varieties of mixed curry, and a sour soup. Now the mother said, "Serve them fish." So fish was cooked in Udbodan in those days. So the disciple, even now it is offered. So disciple said, "No, mother, I am satisfied with the prasad itself. I don't want to take fish." Mother said, "How is it that, dear, you are a woman whose husband is living and you won't take fish?" Normally in those days, it was only Vaishnavas and women who had become widows. They used to stop taking fish. They became vegetarians. So she's saying, your husband is still living. Why should you not take fish? Then the disciple says, in our part of the country, and she also asked, why haven't you painted your souls with lac dye? It's known as alta, the red colored dye. Normally, women, I mean, those who are not widows, they could, they normally applied. Looking at the feet, people would understand that this lady is married. Said, why have you not painted? Just like some people have the mark on their forehead, to red mark on their forehead to indicate that they were married. So this was one of the indications that the woman was married. He said, why have you not, you are not a widow, your husband is still living, why have you not painted your souls with lac dye? The disciple says, in our part of the country, painting of the souls with lac dye is not in vogue. Conch bangles on the hand and mark of vermilion on the forehead indicate that a woman's husband is living. He said, in our part of the country, we don't do this, but rather if we wear conch bangles made of conch shell, that is a special kind of bangle. And if somebody wears that and also wears the vermilion mark on the forehead, that itself is sufficient to indicate that the husband is living. Mother said, it may be, but in this part of the country, women wear conch bangles and vermilion as a fancy. Here, iron wristlets, that is bangles, and lac dye are the signs of a woman whose husband is alive. Because she was saying in Calcutta, Holy Mother is trying to tell her what the custom is here. Anyway, mother was served with milk, a mango and a sweet. She mixed them, ate a little and said, I am leaving the remaining portion for your son. The son, as you remember, had taken initiation from Holy Mother. Though she herself got initiation in a dream, the son had taken initiation during a previous visit. Said, I am leaving a little portion for your son. When the meal was over, I was about to remove the leaf plate when Lakshmi Didi hurriedly came and caught hold of it. I was not willing to part with the plate, but neither would Lakshmi Didi leave it. At last the mother stood up and said, allow Lakshmi to carry it. Among them you are the oldest. Since they are here, why should you carry it? Said, don't worry, they will take the plates. She was hesitant because she didn't want anybody from mother's or mother's relatives to, especially Brahmins, to take the plate in which she ate, the leaf plate. But she was compelled to leave the plate there, and mother said, no, you allow them to take. They are younger in age also. Then I accompanied the mother to the washing place. Mother filled a pot with water from the bucket and gave it to me, saying, wash your mouth and hands. I feel very awkward. I said, then mother herself took a pot of water and offered it and said, you wash your hands now. Because normally if you have eaten with the hands, you can't hold the pot. So somebody has to hold it for you. There was no tap in those days. So he said, wash your mouth. But she was feeling awkward because how can she accept this seva from the guru? I said, mother, I can't obey you. The mother said, why not? It will bring you good if you do what I say. Come, hurry up and wash. There are others waiting behind you. Well, touch the water pot with your forehead. She was saying that whatever the guru says you have to do. You should not argue. Just do. If it will bring you a lot of good, if you do, just do what I say. Don't try to question everything. And then she said, wash because others are also. So mother was giving water to everybody. And then she said, well, touch the water pot with your forehead. Having no other course left open, I obeyed her command. After this, as I was moving away, the mother said, what is this? Why did you not wash your feet? She was very shy. How can I take the water and wash my feet? Water which was handed by her guru or Holy Mother herself. She said, no, I shall wash them later. The mother said, no, come, I shall pour the water. Then I went up behind the mother and said, mother, I can't do this. The mother replied, what's the matter? First sprinkle some water on your head. If you listen to my words, it will be only for your good. And with so no other course open, I did as she told me, and at her directive I followed her to her room. Entering the room, mother stood as if taken aback, and after a moment cried out, "Oh, what have you done? What will my son take?" So I noticed that a certain woman devotee was saying to herself, "Everything will be eaten by our children, we shall die of starvation," and was merrily eating the prasad the mother had kept for her son. Seeing this, I laughed heartily. Lakshmi Didi and other women present also began to laugh too. I could hardly control my laughter, but the mother appeared very concerned and stood there quietly. Though this Radhu and others were eccentric and they did not like that mother should give prasad to others. So they used to sometimes quarrel and sometimes quietly eat away everything that was kept for somebody else. Then the mother sent someone. Mother was concerned. She was not amused. Others laughed. They thought, okay, let her eat. She is not in the right frame of mind. But anyway, mother said, please go and see if the cook has closed the kitchen, and if not, what food had been left behind. Learning that there was some rice, pulse, and curry, the mother said, well, ask the cook to bring a small quantity of each of them. When the cook brought them on a plate, the mother mixed them together, ate a little from it, and left the remaining portion covered, saying, this is for my son, that is her son, who had been initiated by her. Standing behind her, I was wondering how the mother could eat rice twice. I was also musing, means normally once your meal was over, people normally did not eat twice, but just to make it prasad, she just took a little food and gave the prasad, gave the other food, the rice, pulses and other things after mixing them together. So I was also musing, how could I offer a small personal service to the mother. I had used water given by her for cleaning my mouth and washing my feet, but I could give no service to her. I was walking behind the mother. When she entered the shrine room, she said to me, my towel is hanging on the panel of the door. Please bring it and wipe my feet. Hearing this lady was overwhelmed with joy. She brought the towel, and then the mother said, well, let me sit on the cot. Please wipe the soles of my feet nicely. When I wiped her feet, I touched them with my head several times. Smiling a little, mother said, all right, stop now. Then Lakshmi Didi brought a betel leaf and said, smiling, you are very fortunate. The mother showed you a favor on you unasked for. Now take this betel roll. But blinded by tears, I couldn't see it. The mother took the betel roll and gave it to me, saying, now spread that mat on the floor and cover it with that carpet and place those 3 pillows. When the bed was being prepared, the mother lay down. Sitting close to her, I began to massage her feet. When she said, now you lie down. Seeing my hesitation, the mother said, lie down, placing your head on the pillow. I said, no, mother, when I fall asleep, my feet may accidentally touch your body. So I won't lie down. The mother replied, how is it that, dear? I am telling you to lie down and you are refusing. I was in a fix. I had to follow her order. The mother then said, I found much joy in meeting you, just as a mother feels joy at the homecoming of her daughter from her father-in-law's house after a long time. Well, when will you return home? I said, I shall leave this evening. So mother, kindly remember me, your beggar daughter. Saying this, I began to weep. The mother said, oh dear, dear, why do you speak thus? You are my princess. I myself have initiated you. You have nothing to feel sad about. You don't have to worry. I shall look after everything for you in all conditions. Now after that, Radhu comes. Radhu comes at 4 o'clock. She had gone to school. She had just come back. After she had taken snacks, the mother said to her, come, I shall braid your hair. Then Radhu, she was a bit eccentric. She said, no, I shall do it myself. As the mother took a comb to braid her hair, Raju began to hit mother with it. The mother remarked, "Mad girl, what shall I do with her?" Then Yoginma came and made pranam to the mother. Finding Raju hitting the mother, she said, "What is this? Why should Raju hit our mother? I'll punish her." But Raju would not stop. Then the mother said, "I shall call Sharat. I can't tolerate any more pain." Because towards the end, she was also fed up, but she lovingly served this mad Raju. Yoginma told revered Sharat Maharaj, who came out of his room on the ground floor and shouted, "Oh Raju, don't hurt the mother." On hearing his voice, Raju was very quick to retreat. Kusum Didi said, "Come, I shall braid your hair." Just like a well-behaved girl, Raju's mood changed and quietly went to her and sat very close. At that moment, Raju's mother came to announce, "Just see, one of your disciples has come with something in his hand. If it is a piece of cloth, I shall use it for the top of my mosquito net." Truly, Ni means the son of this lady whom mother was feeding and whom she had initiated in a dream. That boy had come with some fruits. He had actually left his mother and father here and gone to buy some fruits, sweets, and cloth. As soon as he saluted the mother, the latter said, "Ah, the cloth is fine, and the sweets and fruits are very good too. Oh Gulab, take them and keep them ready. When the shrine opens, they should be first offered to the master." Ah, my son's face looked dry. "Now wash your hands and face and then have some prasad. May you live long, my son, and may you have devotion. But perhaps you shall have to marry." Ni means full name is not given here. Saluted the mother and went downstairs. Golapma followed him, carrying the dish containing the prasad. Then Raju's mother began to make an importunate demand, saying, "Give me those two saris. I shall make the top of my mosquito net with them." She was mad. She wanted to destroy that sari. The mother said, "How can it be? My son will feel hurt. He has brought the sari for wearing, not for making the top of the mosquito net." A little later, the mother said to Kusum Didi, "Please bring a sari for me." Yoginma observed, "See how fortunate they are. Who are they, I wonder? In just one day, they have received so much of compassion from the mother. Blessed girl you are. I feel like saluting you." Hearing this, I shrank. What is she saying? She was a Brahmin and she knew that she was a Kayastha. So mother had made even Radu salute them. Then the mother remarked, "They belong to East Bengal. They have great faith. It is beneficial even to be in the company of such people." Once again, I wiped mother's feet with a towel. This lady, Sushila Mazumdar. The mother put on a fresh sari, which her son, that is Holy Mother's disciple, had brought, and sat on the asana for worship and began to pray to the Master. "O Lord, look after their welfare. They love you even more than their own lives, and so they have come to me from a faraway land, encountering so many difficulties." Later, the mother called me and asked, "Have you any questions to ask?" Disciple says, "Mother, I've been surprised to see young widows here taking fish. In our part of the country, it is prohibited by society." Then the mother said, "Do you know what this is? This is but local and regional custom. In our part, young widows are allowed to take fish and wear bordered saris and jewelry. They naturally harbor these desires. If they are restricted from eating fish, they will take it stealthily. When they become convinced that they are doing something against social injunction, they themselves will give it up." Then the disciple asked, "Mother, can the desire for enjoyment be given up?" Mother said, "No, dear, what you say is true. But when people grow up and they see the behavior of others, and then they feel ashamed of their own conduct. So experience teaches them when they see the ill effects of the desire for enjoyment, the suffering that it entails. Besides, at the time of quarrels, they have to suffer caustic comments, and so they restrain themselves of their own accord. That means when people criticizes, when society criticizes, this desire for enjoyment, people refrain from doing it. That is what Holy Mother seems to be saying. Then she says, because there are so many rules, they were so orthodox in those days. Disciple asked Mother, well, Mother, you being a Brahmin lady, how could you take rice twice? Now, they are so much orthodox that they found it rather strange, because Mother had to take rice again so that she could give prasad to her disciple, because Radhu had eaten everything. They did not leave anything for the devotees. Mother said, what do you mean, dear? When did I eat rice twice? Disciple said, at the time when you gave prasad to my son. Mother said, I can do everything for the welfare of my son. That means she can break every rule. If the mother makes certain rules, she has the power to break the rules. There is no harm in it. Besides, in the case of prasad, it is not objectionable to eat even 5 times. Consecrated food is not like ordinary food. Don't let your mind be disturbed over these trifles. It will make you forget the Lord. The essence is the spirit in which you accept the prasad. That's what Mother seems to be saying. Whatever people may say, remember the Master and do what you consider to be correct. What is your swadharma? The Master used to say, look upon people as worms. Don't take all the criticism that they shower on you seriously. There are certain things which are essential, and even if you break the customs, if your intention is good, you don't have to bother. By this, he did not mean all kinds of men. He was referring only to fault finders and people of mean tendencies. So Sri Ramakrishna used to tell people that you should consider them, means don't take them seriously, though there is divinity in them. Just as he used to advise that if the Mahut Narayan tells, then you obey him. Though there are certain things which are not good. So you have to be very prudent. And when fault finders and people of evil tendencies criticize you, you have to just ignore it and look upon them as worms. So it was time for her to depart, and a carriage was waiting for her. With tears in her eyes, the mother stroked my head and said, come again. I could not bear the idea of departing. I caught hold of the mother's feet and began to weep. The mother said, don't weep, dear. I am already your own. Come again. This was my first and last meeting with the Holy Mother. Her blessings and loving words of consolation are treasures of my life. So this lady who had initiation in her dream had the fortune. Perhaps Mother knew that she would not be able to see this lady again. She was so devoted that she showered all her love and compassion, and her last words were very significant. Don't weep, dear. I am already your own. Try to come again. Of course, she could not do that, but Mother had given her blessings. And she says, her blessings and loving words of consolation are the treasures of my life. So we will conclude and see if there are any questions. Otherwise, we'll conclude for today. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.